Your desire to want to write this story. I mean, out of all the stories, why choose this one?
Well, first and foremost, I have said here tonight that I've always felt like our political literature in South Africa is skewed in favor of people who were at the forefront of the liberation struggle. And I've also said that there's nothing wrong with that because people tend to gravitate towards heroes, so to speak. But for me, stories such as that of Lucas Mangope are stories that should not be left out. And if we engage in this literary work for posterity, then it's critical that no one story should be left behind. We should bequeath to future generation a full picture of what transpired during the transition from apartheid to the democratic dispensation. So that is one of the reasons why I did this. But also, I grew up in Motswedi. I was born there. That's where Lucas Mangope was born and raised as well. And towards the transition, I must have been around 10 years of age or so. And I was exposed to contrasting views about him. At home, he was loved, he was held in high regard, he was spoken of in glowing terms. But the moment I stepped out into the streets, I had contrasting views. For instance, at home they would say, he did well for the people of Bophuthatswana, and then this Nelson Mandela, who had just come out of prison, was coming to take away all of those things. But in the streets, it was the opposite. Mandela was bringing liberation, where apartheid would be done away with, whereas Lucas Mangope was seen as one who was holding on to Bophuthatswana, which was essentially an extension of apartheid. So those kind of stories, caused me to write this book. And also, his story is fascinating. If you look at the kind of things that he went through, personal matters of heartbreak and grief, and then also what happened in his political career. There's quite a lot of interesting things that he went through, and I felt that it was an injustice of sorts to have such a story left untold.
As a storyteller, I'm always asked this question as a filmmaker: why should I watch? I mean, anybody who for instance, like the younger generation, why should they really read this book?
Well, firstly, it's a book that is rich with history of Bophuthatswana, and I suppose people in that part of the country will resonate with that story because it's essentially a history about themselves. I also tell to an extent the history of the Bahurutsi people in Motswedi in that particular book, where they come from and all of that. But I also feel that this is a very important story for contemporary politics in South Africa, because there are a lot of lessons to be learned here. And I feel like if those lessons were brought to the surface earlier, maybe, just maybe, we could have avoided some of the problems that we have encountered as a country in terms of public administration and so forth.